nothing over music. John, are you ready? Ron, are you ready? Jose, let's go!
Still Knicks fans, still Knicks fans, go! Still Knicks fans, still Knicks fans, go! Still Knicks fans, still Knicks fans, go! Still Knicks fans, still Knicks fans, still SKF, SKF, still SKF, SKF, still SKF, SKF, still SKF, SKF, still. Yeah, all season long we gonna keep the garden live. Let me introduce you to New York, starting 5. Listen to the podcast, like it and share it. What highlights of RJ, Broadway, Barrett. The question is, what kind of offense we gonna run, son? It doesn't matter, we got Jalen Brunson. Let him drive the lane, you know that we stopping them. Welcome to the block party, Mitchell Robinson. You need a deep shot, call Evan Fournier. Look behind the 3-point line and find him over there. And trust, there's nothing we can't handle. If things go left, we call Julius Randle. Look all the way up and see OB topping. And NY, it's good to see your IQ dropping. Hit the defender with a hezzy, he froze. Classic, vintage, D-Rose. You wanna see fans do? Tell me what the bet is. Human highlight, you gotta keep your cam on Reddish. You can't handle the beef, then why start? And make sure you tune in to catch iHeart. Put the Knicks on the New York Times with the vets and the youngins like Quentin Grimes. Run with us or run from us, it's time to pick sides before I end up waving the deuce like McBride. Still Knicks fans, still Knicks fans, go! Still Knicks fans, still Knicks fans, go! Still Knicks fans, still Knicks fans, go! Still Knicks fans, still Knicks fans, still SKF, SKF, still SKF, SKF, still SKF, SKF, still SKF, SKF, still. Freedom over fame. Freedom over cycle stays the same.
What's going on? We are back. Thank you for tuning in to SKF Weekly. You see it. Ron, John, we're back. Let's go. I wish I had like a thing where I could like and just vanish. That's what I want, really. I want to come back.
We have to do it to the point where you say, let's go. And then all of a sudden, I explode out of the box.
Yeah. Now you talk. You see that? This is, guys, you're catching this firsthand. These are the meetings we have behind the scenes, man. This is like exclusive stuff right here. This is where the ideas are born. What up, John? It's tough. It's a tough crowd out here. It's a tough crowd. It's a rough Monday. It's a rough Monday. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate you as always. John, what's happening, my brother? How are you feeling tonight?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Doing good. I'm excited.
You're doing good.
I'm excited. I'm doing good. I'm excited for this. The way we're coming off of this last victory. So I'm sure we're gonna talk about it. There's lots to talk about. I know Knicks fandom is going crazy right now. A lot of folks want to, talk about like this is not real. What we're seeing is sort of what they call that, like fool's gold. You know what I mean? So let's see what it actually is. I, for one, am excited about this progress, and so we'll talk about it. But I'm excited about today's show.
I like it. Yeah, today's show is going to be another good one. And the fact that the Knicks are surprising us a little bit kind of adds a little. It's like, it's like a nice cake baked to perfection. You put the little cherry on top. That's the Knicks. They're the cherry. Okay, everything else we can't depend on them, so they're not the cake. They're the cherry.
I got you. I got you.
All right, let me not hold back anymore because I feel real funky about these Knicks. Anyway, guys, we got a great show for you once again. We have another special guest. I thought I was gonna be introducing someone to you by the name of Marija, but I was wrong. The spelling is different. It's cool. I really thought I listen. Maybe we should see if we could get her to change it up. Nah, she's lived with it forever. Let's keep it the way it is. Anyway, guys, we got a very special guest today. What makes this guest special? Last week, we had Nisha Butler, who, outside of just what she did on the basketball court, what she's doing now is very influential and positive and helps our youth. And this person is no different. Right along the same lines, been doing it for a while. It does it with a little flair, a spark to really get our kids invested in what's going on, mixing math, the learning of math, as well as infusing some basketball, nick them into it as well. It's really cool, really dope. Before I got her on the show, I was kind of getting a feel for what she did and how the classroom stuff worked. And, there was an MSG commercial I thought was pretty dope. I didn't even know that existed. I'm a little late to the field, how it is. But it's really dope, man. I think you guys are going to love her. Really cool spirit. If you even looked at her Instagram, you could kind of tell she's a really cool person just by what she does out there. The traveling, the Globetrotter is the name of Instagram. Like it's just incredible. Without further ado, let's welcome. Right now she could be my favorite math teacher, Miss Marija Kero, to
I'm gonna bring you to work every first day of school. I want that intro.
Well, I mean, listen, if I was doing my homework the right way, I would have gave you your old school's intro, the welcoming, you're like something. I would have did something like that. Thank you for being here. It's great to have you.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here to talk some Knicks.
No, listen,
we will.
We definitely will do that. And you know what? Being that, we know that you're a big Knicks fan, and you definitely enjoy the team. I'm going to have John ask you the first question because this is the first question he usually asks everybody.
Okay.
And he knows what it is. You know exactly what it is, John.
I know what it is.
So go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
We're going to start by saying, where did it all start? Where did Knicks fandom come into your life?
It might have started as a rebellion against my parents because they were Bulls fans. I don't know.
Let's go.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
Jose, close the curtain. Show's over. How can we?
Yeah, when I think back, I mean, I've been a Knicks fan since I was a little girl, but my mom and dad were Bulls fans in the Jordan era, and I was just like, no, like absolutely not. Like, do you see these
Wait,
Knicks?
hold on. I don't mean to cut you off, but how does that even happen? How do you even say I'm going to be a Knicks fan?
Oh, right. Well, clearly I was the black sheep of the family. I was the rebellious child. That's what I'm telling you. Yeah, I think that's when I think back and reflect on it, I'm like, yeah, that must have been me just trying to argue with my dad one more time. I don't know. But watching the games, like John Stark stole my heart. Like that Knicks team, that era of the 90s, that grit, I'm a competitor. I'm scrappy. So the way they played, I was drawn to that, and I was just never a bandwagon person. I'm like, we're not from Chicago. Like, what are you doing? So yeah, the Knicks were my squad right from the beginning.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's dope.
A lot of heartbreak.
I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah.
A lot of heartbreak. You must have, they must have had the tissues beside you as a child, and I couldn't even imagine going
every year you're like, right, so clearly she's gonna come to our side now, right? And I was like, nope, we'll get you next year. Nope, we'll get you next year.
Hard-headed.
Also.
That's
yeah.
Well, I mean, listen, that's it's still a great story. I mean, it's really very different. You might be one. I don't know. Out of all the people we've talked to, and might be the first time I've heard someone where grew up in a household of a certain team and decided at a young age to be.
Yeah.
That's so different. Wow.
The blue and orange look better.
Maybe
that's why the blue and orange just fit right.
That's what it was.
That's it.
And then I'm a Mets fan at that, so it's just blue and orange all around. It was an easy.
Oh man, listen, if there could be like hearts and stars and rainbows popping up on the screen right now, Mets and Knicks, let's go.
The chat, throw them up, throw those fire emojis up.
John's a Yankee fan, so he don't understand, but that's okay.
Listen.
That's right. I'm not a Yankee hater though. I'm not one of those. No, I did skip school in high school to go to the Yankee parades. I'm not a Yankee hater.
Oh, there you go. See, but you might be like me, because technically I'm not a Yankee hater either. The only reason I never liked the Yankees growing up is because of the fans. If the fans were cool, I would have been cool with the Yanks.
Yeah.
I'm cool.
No, you're a cool fan, but I met you later in life, kind of compared to when I was a little kid. I was getting ragged a lot. It was tough.
The young Yankee fans ruined it for you.
Yeah, they were rough, man. I was getting beer poured on me in the bleachers. It was wild. Okay, but whatever.
Lord.
Unbelievable. So what was that game in your household that sort of, and I wouldn't say change the tide, but like I'm gonna quote my guy Tony Crow. He has a show named Knicks and Bruises. What was your Nick and Bruises for this current thing? Because that's got to be one with Chicago versus New York, the epic battles that they had. What was the one that stood out the most, like game wise, that you could recall? Like, I can't believe like we just lost this.
Oh man, that's a good question. No, but it was way more bruises than anything else, right? So I feel like it was a lot of that, and it was just kind of me putting my head down after every single series and wishing for better next year, but not really getting it. Cause I mean, they had our number if we're being serious. Right. So there wasn't a whole lot of bragging going on my part. It's hard to find one game that kind of solidifies that. It was just, it was tough.
For me, was that comeback when Jordan decided to come back. And
you know what? That's true.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, it was like, this is our
it was a glimmer of hope, and you shut it down again. Yeah, that's true.
Right.
That's a good point.
That is a tough one. That was a tough one.
Yeah.
I did not like that at all. I agree with you on that.
We got their number today. That's okay. We can, if we fast forward to present day, we'll take the Bulls down any day.
That's true. I'm with you on that. That's why you can have bragging rights with the folks.
Right. Oh, they don't care anymore. They were really just Bulls fans because of Tony Kukoc. So like they're over it.
That makes sense though.
Yeah. They were rocking with the hometown. Yeah, so they don't care anymore.
All right. Well, it is what it is. So
that makes more sense.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. And
very right. Yeah.
And don't tell anybody, but I kind of like Tony Kukoc growing up. But anyway, shh. Don't say anything.
Stop it. You were a Scottie Pippen guy.
I know. That's the thing. So the thing about me, Marija, is I'm a weird Knicks fan. I love the Knicks, die hard. But my favorite basketball player is Scottie Pippen. Don't ask me why.
Really?
Yeah. Look, sometimes you can't take things back. Pippen the player, beautiful. Pippen the person, not so much.
Right. You know what?
It is what it is.
Barkley's my guy, so that's not as controversial, but I do understand that because Barkley's my guy from when I was a kid.
All right. So yeah, you can get it. You understand.
Yeah,
like my favorite Knick is John Starks. Do you have a favorite Knick?
Okay. It's between John Starks, I always say, is the one that made me a Knicks fan, but Allen Houston might be my favorite Knick of all time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Just because I was, a little bit older, my memories run a little bit deeper with that squad, the 99 team,
Mm-hmm. Which makes sense. I could dig that. Yeah. Shout out to our great chat. Appreciate you guys for tuning in as always. Thank you for being here and supporting the show and supporting Marija, being our special guest. Shout out to Nice, David L, Geraldine McIver, the first lady of still Knick fans and the Knick community. Let's go. Shout out to Wiz. Let's see. Dwayne Dennis, Gideon Amanqua's in the building. Salute to you guys. And those who are watching that may not be in the chat, shout out to you as well. And shout out to Kareem Grant. What up, twin? So somebody in the chat had a question for you. I see it. There it is. My guy G Money, Gideon Amanqua says, who is your favorite NBA? I can't even speak. NBA commentator, Miss Kero.
Oh, well, not Reggie Miller. I'll tell you that. Every time he's on, I cringe. Like, I hate hearing his voice so much. When they have him on our games, it really bothers me. The Dream Team. It's Breen and Frazier together. You know, it's our guys.
Yes.
There you go. There you go. I love the fact that most Knicks fans hate Reggie Miller commentating.
Yeah,
and
like a pure sound when I hear his voice on the games. I'm like, why mute? Like, I'm just gonna do the game myself. I'm gonna be my own color commentator. I got this.
I don't know who's worse. And the funny thing is, they put them both together sometimes. Reggie Miller and RJ Jefferson. Like,
I knew you were. Yeah, that would be my second for sure. Yeah.
Like,
that's
what?
for sure. Second least favorite voice to listen to, for sure.
I think they know that none of us are tuning into ESPN or TNT during that time. We're watching MSG, so they don't. Right. They just don't care.
Yeah,
at that point.
They don't care.
Yeah.
So
don't respect that
being that, I guess Gideon's question. There was a follow-up question here from Nice, who said, "Who is your favorite player on these Knicks? I guess the current Knicks."
Oh, easily Jalen Brunson.
Oh,
easily.
Nice.
I mean, he to me is the player that has changed our whole team. I mean, I said it when we got him. I was like, he's going to be responsible for the revival of Julius Randle. Like, if Julius Randle survives here and has a comeback year, it's going to be because of Jalen Brunson. And I really think that it hands down has been. Like, without Jalen here, Julius is not an all-star this season, which is why it sucks that Jalen is not an all-star. Because it's not only for his own play, but the way that he was able to elevate Julius back to what he was. It's for sure Jalen. I mean, his composure, his like savviness in the paint, the way that he's just not afraid of anybody. Everybody out there is bigger than him. He plays completely unafraid, you know, is willing to take charges all the time. He's super crafty. So I love Jalen. Plus, I'm kind of biased because, you know, that I had him come to my school and talk to the kids, and he was phenomenal.
Yep.
He was just incredible. I mean, he like gave his time and then some. He stayed outside and played ball with the kids for like an hour. He was just an incredible human being.
That's awesome.
So outside, yeah, he was unreal.
And in just 1 year, right? Like, he's here, the first year here, makes such an impact. Like, you can't ask for a better leader. Like, one of those things that we needed for quite some time is a point guard, but not only a point guard, a leader, someone who can take this team and sort of mold them into sort of what, you know, New York fans want to see, you know, a nice, gritty team, hardworking team, a team that people could, you know, root for once more. And I think he's done a fantastic job just becoming a leader on the court and helping the young guys, you know, just mature and understand the game of basketball. I think him and the acquisition of his father coming in, I think that's super important. You know,
huge.
It's huge. It's huge. And we could see it. And unfortunately, the all-star bidding is a little difficult because you only have a select few point guards. Then they go to the bigs. And so it's not, you know, it's hard to put talent against talent because it's what they do for that team, you know. And I think Jalen Brunson's important, extremely impactful to this Knicks team. I think you're spot on. He's a great pick.
Who do we trust more in the clutch? As a matter of fact, who else, period, do we trust in the clutch? Because for me, nobody right now. Like, and that becomes a problem for us, right? Because every other team kind of knows the ball is going to his hands, but that's, at this point, he's been the only consistent closer for us.
Right.
But I trust the ball in his hands 10 out of 10 times, you know? So, yeah, definitely Jalen, without a doubt.
I'm with you on that. And that honestly has been a little interesting conversation throughout these Knick chats and stuff. Who is our closer? And, you know, a lot of people weren't really, I think they've warmed up to it now and really understand because in some cases, Jalen hasn't always hit the big shot at the end, but
not that many attempts.
True. True, but he's had a couple moments where he didn't hit the big shot. But like, I don't look at it like I don't view that as him, not being a good closer. I view how clutch he is, because sometimes being a closer is not necessarily always about hitting the game-winning shot or the game-tying shot. It's how you react in moments of you want to say despair or desperation, pressure. There you go. That's a good word for it. Yeah. Pressure. Like, you know how many times Jalen Brunson has hit big shots when the other team was going on a run, or has put us in a position to have a lead when we could have been down, when other guys weren't hitting their shots. Like, he just he finds good moments to hit big shots. And I think that's important.
Yep. Huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is huge.
Yeah. And hopefully, some of that starts to spill over and rub off on Julius, because I kind of feel bad for Julius in a way, because he's playing so well. But when it comes to the pressure moments, like those fourth quarter pressure moments, but definitely not overtime. Let's not talk about that. But it's just a different story.
Right. And the nice thing is we don't have to worry about that with Jalen, because we've seen him do it in the playoffs already, right? So we didn't know that Julius was going to completely melt for us against Atlanta, right? He has that stellar season, and then he just completely breaks down, and nobody saw that coming. But with Jalen, like, I don't know if some Knicks fans might have some PTSD about that, but it's like we've already seen him do it in a bigger spotlight, when they were deeper into the playoffs and taking over the reins for an absolute superstar in this game. So we don't have to worry that he's not going to come through when that moment comes for him when we're in the playoffs this season. So
true.
I'm excited to see his game elevate during the playoffs. But yeah, I mean, that's the next step for Julius, right? Is like, you can't just, I mean, it was devastating watching Russ just like pick him twice in what seemed like 2 minutes during that Lakers game, and just watching him revert back to some of those like super sloppy ball handling, you have no business taking that shot moments. Just the turnovers are creeping back on him.
Yeah. That was tough. I was glad I missed it. So
Oh, you missed it?
Yeah, I don't have TNT, so I didn't see it. I just heard about it. I'm like, oh, it was good. Oh yeah, that's great.
I was tuned in.
I was there for it, and I was like, am I watching LeBron's worst game of his season? And I was like, oh no, I'm watching our worst game of our season.
Oh, nice.
We had so many opportunities to win that one too.
We did. Are you a season ticket holder?
I am not this season. I was last season, but I get a pretty good hookup with tickets sometimes. I was like, before I go ahead and invest again, let me see what this season is looking like and just take advantage of the hookup that I have, and then fill in my.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just asked because I see you sporadically at the Garden. So
yeah.
I mean,
I've got a little less this year. Yeah.
Oh, okay. It'd be nice if I saw you at the Garden, but Ron don't got the hookup. But one day, because still Knicks fans, we'll be on the map.
There you go. Exactly. Manifest it.
There you go.
You have your own section.
Yeah.
So I see there's a couple of questions about, give us a little bit more information about where you're at, where you come from, what do you teach, what grade, what's going on in Marija's life right now that we could share with the world.
I teach probably what people would consider to be the craziest age range. So I teach 8th graders. They're like 13, 14. So the age when they think they know everything. I love them. I think that age is the most important, especially in New York City, where you're not just going to a town high school, but you're applying and going through what feels like a college application process. So before they're sent off into high school, I think it's really important that kids have a solid foundation, a solid vision of what they want their future to look like. So yeah, 8th graders up in the Bronx, and I've been doing the same thing for quite some time now. And I love it. I teach math. So I teach everybody's probably least favorite age range and least favorite subject, because I think if we asked everybody to tell us how much they love math, I'm pretty sure it'd be a bunch of thumbs downs on that one.
Yeah, but it's very important, and I'm glad that you're doing it, and you're doing it in a way that I think the kids can relate and you make it fun for them. So that's pretty dope.
It's so funny you said those two things. I always tell teachers I have two goals in every single lesson I teach. Either I got to make the lesson fun or I have to make it relate to the kids' lives. Ideally, both of those things. But one of those two has to happen because they're not coming to school voluntarily, right? Like they have to be in school. So it's our job to make them want to be there, to engage them enough in what we're trying to teach them to make them want to be there. And a subject like math that everybody is so scared of. And I always get the parents that are like, I can't help them. I don't know it. I don't remember how it's taught, but STEM-based careers are the future. So there's already an underrepresentation of women and of minorities in that field. And that's because of the achievement gap that we have in schools in math. Mm-hmm. So we got to close that, to make sure that as our kids grow up, they're afforded opportunities in the field that's definitely going to take over. So their job opportunities are wider, and they're not limited to doing X amount of jobs. I always tell the kids, I'm like, the fact that everybody hates math, that's why you should love it. Because the better you are at something that people don't like, that makes you a more valuable member of society, right? That opens up way more doors for you. So, but yeah, we play basketball. They get no homework when the Knicks win. I do push-ups when the Knicks lose. The gym teacher does them when we win. So it's a thing, it's a whole thing. It's a whole Knicks-centered Blue and Orange classroom. So yeah, we got it going.
That's pretty dope. That's really great, man. Where were you when I was a kid in 8th grade trying to learn stuff? Come on, man.
It's good motivation, right?
Listen, we had Miss Watkins as a teacher back in the day. Now that was but anyway, listen, but that would have been fun what you're doing. Because
we played basketball in class, like math problem, they shoot for an extra point. It's a good time.
Right. Well, listen, I could just tell you, Miss Watkins was like Halle Berry for us in junior high school. I don't even remember what she taught. I don't know what I learned from her, but hey, I was there.
This guy.
You were there. She got your attendance up. At the very least, she got your attendance up.
Oh man, I never missed. Anyway, okay. So back to what Marija is talking about here, but that's great, man. That is fantastic.
She was a science teacher, and you were writing poetry in her classroom.
Yeah, that sounds about right. The beauty is to have life. Yeah, I was doing all that stuff. Yeah, that makes sense. That's really dope. That is really dope, and I'm glad that you're doing that. And because I was really excited. And then the funny thing is that you said, well, not funny, but it's interesting that you mentioned the whole thing about STEM careers, because our guest last week, same thing, STEM careers.
I heard this is what's going earlier, on. And I was like, that's so exciting that you had her. Yeah. That's the future, right? And kids keep up with all the trends of what's happening with their games, with the apps, right? But if they think about the trends that go on behind the scenes, right? So there's no Minecraft without math. There's no NBA 2K without math. So like I try to show them like motion capture, like mocap, I show them that's all math. Like you need calculus and trig to figure out body joint movements. You need transformations to make the players rotate and dunk the ball. That's all. So if you enjoy that, cool. But there's jobs and money in the math that goes behind making all those things that are your generational. So even with basketball, right? Like what's the biggest way you guys would say like basketball has evolved in the past decade? Like what's the lingo that has come out recently that people have been talking about?
Oh, analytics.
See what I'm saying? Right? So like, you love the game of basketball. You keep up with Steph Curry's trends of shooting from half court, but are you keeping up with the fact that they've now incorporated so much more math? You know how many jobs that means there are in the NBA right now for you to analyze a game you love, right? So for all the kids that have hoop dreams that may end up not making it to the NBA, if you're good at math, that's another job you can have. Go analyze it then. Go throw up some charts and help, teams figure out what their scheme should be just based on numbers, which are not always right, but still like that's. Right.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm more of a G. Michaels type of guy. I do the eye test.
Definitely. Because I told them that too. I'm like, yo, graphs are meant to fool you, first of all. Like I can make a graph or a chart, say anything I want to convince you. That's like that's what advertising is. That's another reason kids like don't just read a chart and think because that percent is there. Like you gotta delve into it and really see what they're talking about.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. And that's the evolution of the game, or all games, not just basketball, all sports. Really get into analytics and all this stuff. And like John mentioned with sabermetrics, that's like been what the last 10 years maybe.
I would say
it's been
so.
Growing.
Early.
Yeah, it's been growing. Yeah, so I mean, this is the new wave. This is life. This is what's going on, and you know,
Yeah.
you can either get with it or get left behind, as they like to say.
Right.
So why
Yeah.
not be a part of it if you can? Um,
Yeah.
and it's good that you know you're emphasizing that, and I hope that the kids really understand and appreciate what you bring to the table and how you're trying to help them. Because let me tell you, as I said, like when we were young, we didn't really have a lot of teachers that did things like that. Some teachers, not gonna lie, there was some teachers that
There or something.
Yeah.
made learning fun. They tried their best. But
Yeah.
then you get the old crotchety guy with the glasses and
Yeah.
like, you know, he's sitting,
Yeah.
he's reading his book, do your lesson, like, you know,
Right.
you get
Where
all
it's
of
like,
it,
yo, it's
right?
to go. Like, where was they need to do a better job of having like post plans for teachers. Like, yo, when you get fed up, I get it. Like, everybody's got to have a limit because everybody's not meant to work with kids for 30 years. But when you reach that limit, you got to go because you're not doing any, you know, that's our future. So you can't, it's not an office job. You can't just clock in, clock out and do your bare minimum. Like, you're there and you change their whole day as a teacher. The way that you present yourself, the way that you know, talk to them, you literally have the power to change their whole outlook of their whole day. And that's a power not to be messed with. You know, so if you're not in the mood to do it anymore, you got to step down and figure out what else to do because it kills me when I see teachers like that are clearly checked out.
Yeah, they haven't figured out what the exit strategy is going to be for people in the school or teachers, and you know, they have exit strategies for students though. You know,
so good point.
Figured it out yet.
Yes, they do.
Very good point.
Yeah,
but
that's actually, you know, interesting. Yeah.
During your time teaching, I know you'd like to incorporate a lot of Knicks and sort of trivia. Have you ever come across a student that was not a Knicks fan and will fight you, you know, front and back about the team that they represent or that they're fans of?
Oh, yeah. All the time. We've had bets. I think that's where the push-up bet might have started. There's definitely some Nets fans, unfortunately. There's always Laker fans, you know, trickled in here and out. A couple of Grizzlies fans more recently because of Ja. So yeah, they'll go back and forth with me for sure. And there'll be some side bets. There'll be some like no homework bets for them, or go get me some Takis in Arizona at lunch if my team wins. So that's happening all the time for sure. Yeah, that's.
So when John comes into MSG, I'm bet they coming into your classroom doing the giddy.
Oh, they can't wait. They can't wait. Forget it. They're in school early if the Knicks lose. But sometimes they're like, "Is she okay?" And I'm like, I'm not going to be like crazy mad. Like, it's so funny. They think I'm like take it out on them. They're like, "Are you okay? They lost." I'm like, "I'm fine."
You should be like from right before they get in, like extra, like complete extra assignments because they're like just mess with them. They'll come in all like, "Oh no!"
We're gonna figure out why the Knicks lost. Every time they lose, we're doing all the extra math analytics to find out why.
Listen, if they would have did this play, what's the probability that it would have worked?
Right.
Yeah. It's tough times out there. The streets is rough.
Right.
That's cool though. That's really cool. Man, I would have had so much fun being a student in there. I can't tell you. That would have been great. That's really cool. That's really cool. So let me ask you this, being that you have, you know, tried your best to incorporate, you know, Knicks and basketball into the classroom, you go to these games, you've seen what's going on with these Knicks. I mean, how do you feel about the current state of the New York Knicks? You know, what do you think about this team right now?
I'm hopeful. I'm probably more hopeful than most people. I think that, you know, we've been a steady 5-6 seed, kind of keeping ourselves out of that play-in, and hopefully we continue to do that. And then, you know, we've got a huge loss with Mitch not in the lineup as of late. So even the losses that we've had, though, there's been some good losses, like some overtime, some last-minute losses. I know there's no such thing as one, but it's not. There's not been a lot of blowouts. There's not been a lot of where it looks like we gave up. We're coming out in the third like we did last season all the time, real short and deflated. So I'm still super hopeful. I'm intrigued to see what happens, if anything, before Thursday. You know, are there things that we can improve on? Yeah. Would I like to see RJ have made much greater strides this year? Yeah. You know, Obi's a confusing piece for me. I think I always had a lot of hope for Obi. I feel like he's super athletic. He clearly improved his shooting this year. So I was like, you know what? I like the fact that he set that goal. did it. Like it was a done piece, but the defense is not there. He doesn't create his own shots. Like I've seen sprinkles of it and I get excited, but it's not consistent. And I still don't know. You have to wonder, is it because he's not getting the time? Because his minutes are still some of the lowest on the active roster. So with more time, could he produce more? Or is, I know people are split on Tibbs, or is Tibbs actually a better evaluator of talent than we even think? And he just sees something that we don't see. And he's limiting his minutes for a reason because he knows that there's a ceiling. So just to play devil's advocate, it could be one of the two. I would like to think there's more potential for Obi. I like his explosiveness. I think that he brings a lot of excitement. That second unit last year was something completely different. But I have to think like maybe Tibbs sees something that we don't see. And that's why he's limiting his minutes. Because for me, Obi's expendable at the trade deadline. I think if we make a move, he's in a package. But we should make a move because we can't have all those guys sitting at the bench. Like that's the thing that bothers me most is like, we cannot just have roster spots that are basically equivalent to empty because we're not playing everybody, but
I agree. Yeah. I definitely think that, OB or IQ will be gone before we start playing basketball next year. That's my thought because, and I don't think IQ is going anywhere. I put both of them because they're both next year is their 4th years. So that means they're going to have to get paid after that 4th year. And I just think that the Knicks, they're just not going to pay everybody unless you're making the team that much better. Like there's only so much money that they're going to, it's already, they've invested in Jalen. Well, yeah, they've invested in Jalen. They've invested in Julius. They've invested in RJ, who may or may not still be here for the long haul. Who knows, right? So I just think that if you know that Quickly and Obi's contracts are going to be coming up next year, Quickly is playing himself into a pretty favorable deal, like a really, he's going to make some good money because he's playing defense and he can still give you some stuff on the offensive end. I think Obi kind of looks like the odd man out, unfortunately, especially because Julius is playing so well. If Julius wasn't playing so well, but Julius is playing great.
Right.
So there's something to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. So I think
We'll
he's.
See. I mean,
Evan is overpaid too. I don't agree with Evan being completely benched. I don't like that we did that. I thought that was really weird. Like, yeah, he's a poor defender. His shooting efficiency was down, but then you see what happens when you throw him in a game like Philly. It just felt weird to go to 0 minutes. I never understood that move. It's like I don't see why you wouldn't make some use out of his shooting. There was like plenty of games where I felt like it wasn't a defense issue. It was our shots weren't dropping, and he still wasn't getting any burn. So those type of things by Tibbs definitely confuse me, but. If that's going to be his ultimate choice, then he's got to go. Him and his $18 million because he's overpaid too.
Yeah,
agreed.
But again,
agreed. And the funny thing is, for Knicks fans quickly forget. Man, they really forget all the time. They forget. Like people. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's nice to see, and I'm like, okay, good. It's good to see that he's still in great basketball shape. He knows he's a consummate professional. It was nice to see what Fournier did, but Fournier is a professional. Like, don't forget, Fournier broke your all-time 3-point record last year. Like, he's not that far removed.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. I wasn't that shocked to see that he could light it up, but it was nice to see because this game was the first game that I've seen for Evan Fournier in a long time. Whether he gets his 5 to 12 minutes, whatever it is, where they actually got him the ball in spots where he could. Make a good shot with it. He's usually just getting here. Here's the ball. 3 seconds left. Shoot. Like, what are you gonna do with that?
Exactly. But guess what? We have a point guard now. That's what happens when you have a point guard.
It's also interesting to see that those minutes couldn't be divided just for the sake of Tibbs only stuck on this whole 8 to 9 man roster. Like having to play anything more than that would be too much for him to really. Be able to orchestrate his type of play. It's almost like you gave him too many weapons. He doesn't know how to use it more, and he can only go but so far. Like Evan has to sit because RJ's playing, and then now RJ's out, so now Evan gets a chance to play. It's just almost absurd because there are moments in the game where you'll see RJ just ain't got it clicking, or Grimes ain't got it clicking, and you could utilize. You say you got no bench play. Remember that spurt where we had no bench play, and you kept Fournier deep in the bench, and God forbid Cam see the floor. With those two together, you get an offensive impact right there. And it's like, you just choose not to use it because you're just stubborn. You know what I mean? It's just one of those weird conundrums.
And I get it with Cam. Like, I feel like with Cam, there's a thing with him, and I'm not like trying to attack him personally. I don't know him or his work. I haven't seen him in the gym to say this, but from everything I've heard, his work ethic is not there, right? So I can understand that if you're coming from a hard coaching perspective and you don't want to coach someone that's not coachable, you don't want to give them work. I get that. Evan, I don't understand. Like, and Cam might be a better player, but like, again, to not put Evan in those spurts where, like you said, RJ's having a tough night. Because then you bring him in. I forgot the other game they brought him in, the Sixers, he was good, but there was another game before that where you could tell he looked rusty. It was like that one game where he put Frank Ntilikina in. Do you remember, with like a second left to try to make a save it, defensive play? The worst. It was the worst. And you can't, like, people can't just come off the bench cold like that. They can stay professional, but if they're not getting burned in real time gameplay, I don't know how you expect them to come off fresh and not just, brick a whole bunch of shots. So yeah, I don't understand that.
Yeah. That's why I think Tibbs is good for us now and not going to be good for us in the future. Like, he's currently, it was a good move to have now, shift the culture. And then as we move into, like, to see where we're going to actually be with a new roster squad, maybe even the coming years, I look at it like, let's let him play out his contract. And then after his contract, we'll see where we land. If we're consistently making a playoff push, then then by all means, he's earned his keep. But if we haven't, raised the bar at all, then it's time to move on and trying to look for, some more innovative offensives, coaches that have more offensive schemes. Because now,
I'm not with the get rid of him now. I feel like people who were saying it last year too, I'm like, you can't judge a coach that has no point guard either. That was my big thing last year. I'm like, I'm not talking about Tibbs until he has a roster that he can coach. Like, that's just not fair, So like that, play this season out. Let's see what happens. But I don't see anybody else coming in and working magic with the squad that we have.
Right. And he's got 2 more years, right? He's got 2 more years on his contract.
Oh, I'm not sure.
This year and next. I believe it's this year and next. Because he had a 5-year deal, right?
Yeah, he's got 2 more. 2 more. It's a 5-year.
Yeah, so let him play it out and see what we look like.
Yeah.
We'll see. I hear you, though. I mean, I'm a little bit more optimistic in the fact that I hope that at some point they decide to move on, because I'm in agreement with John about Tibbs. I don't feel he's the coach long term. I mean, I give him credit for whatever he's done this year right now. Okay, I appreciate you. But going forward, like, I don't see it. And I would love a Kenny Atkinson or somebody like that come in. And I think just a coach that can still preach defense, but has a little bit more to their offensive game, or brings in a coaching staff that has a little bit more to the offensive game, would do wonders with this Knicks team. And if we could put any other pieces around to make the product even better, that would be great. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I want to get into the recap real quick of what took place this past week with some of the games. We'll get your take on it too, Marija. And then we get into our predictions, and usually that wraps the show for us. But before I do that, I want to shout out the chat once again. And let me tell you, Marija, the chat is loving you. They're like, she should come on more often. I'm like, wow, they really love your takes.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, they're definitely glued to what you're saying, and I think they also love the fact that they could tell you love the Knicks, like they see it.
Right. Bleed blue and orange.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, but we're with you. We're with you.
No, I love your
shout out
to. No, I love your whole name. When people are like, "How are you a Knicks fan?" I'm like, "How would I not be? You've been through it. How are you not still just in it? Like, what do you can't give up now?"
Know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like, don't quit now. Like you see that, guys? Maria just said it. You've been through the worst. This is gravy now. Like, come on, guys.
Right. I'm loving this.
Right. Shout out to Billy Goat. Let's see. Craig is in the building. Salute to you. Appreciate you. Man, Craig, that's nice. Craig says some really nice stuff there. He said that we should have a lot more subscribers, man. Thank you, Craig. Appreciate you.
Appreciate that.
Let's see. There was a couple more. Oh, look at this. Up for debate with the hashtag, the /scoop. He said this is the best Knicks podcast for real. Oh man, what is happening tonight? All this love. This is great. Beautiful thing. Appreciate you guys. Corey Lee's in the building. Travel Vibes is here. Pudge Nice is here. Julian Blum. My guy Sherwin, who said that we should definitely bring you back, Maria. And listen, we got no problem. If you're ever free again, we'll definitely bother you. You can come on back. Brahim is here. Thank you. Shout out to Eddie F. Thank you for the generous super chat, Eddie. Eddie says there was lots of trade chatter around Bojan and Bogdan Bogdanovic. Tell me why Fournier isn't similar. Honestly, dude, I will tell you, Fournier is very similar to these two guys. However, both these guys can kind of put the ball on the floor a little bit and hit you with a mid-range, break you down. Like Bogdan can get to the rim better. He's got some athleticism. Bojan is a better shooter, and he's taller. It's just, there's just little different things that each one of them has. Bogdan, like I said, is a little bit more athletic, can get to the rim and break you down off the dribble, which Fournier can't do. And Bojan is just a taller guy. He's like 6'10". That height advantage, is to be able to shoot the way he shoots, makes him a better, option as opposed to Fournier. But Fournier is definitely in a skill set of his own. He's one of the last remaining gunners out there. You guys know the gunners of yesteryear. They're kind of all retiring, or they're out of here now. There's not many left. JJ Redick was one. Who's the guy who used to be on the Bulls for all those years?
Oh,
Korver?
Kyle Korver. Yep. Korver, Ray Allen. These are the gunners that their brand of basketball is getting smaller and smaller because there's not too many guys who play that way. So yeah, Fournier still has a little bit of his own niche, however you want to say it.
But I'll say this. I'll say this, Ron. Knowing that Fournier that played with Orlando Magics when he was the prime ball handler and the guy who they relied upon to score buckets, had a lot more impact in the offensive end for that team than he does here with the Knicks. His role is different.
True.
So if they were to utilize Evan Fournier off the bench as they did in Orlando when he was playing there, he would be a lot more efficient. But the ball's not in his hands. He's kind of sort of waiting in the wings, waiting for his opportunity to get a pick and pop. And that's not really his game. When you look at what he did in the World Games, he was a primary ball handler. They just aren't using him correctly.
That's a really good point, John. That's a really good point, because I will tell you, if you notice Evan Fournier when he plays, he's not a bad passer. He sees the open guys and he creates shots for other people. There's some other things on the defensive end we know. And like I said, breaking guys off the dribble, and I think his layup package is missing. But everything else, I think he can handle. I think, and we saw it. He was playing really well in this last game. So shout out to him. Shout out to my guy Ron Cleveland. Man. JT Riddick is out there. Appreciate you guys. And Victor Rivera, A-Train, and the rest of the crew. Thank you guys for tuning in and chopping it up and watching this show and being here for our special guest, Marija Kero. And let me tell you one thing. Guys, I didn't want to be like an Instagram stalker, so I didn't go too crazy with this. I just put a couple. I just grabbed a couple. Let me tell you, Maria's got some swag, folks. She a Knicks fan for real, man. She be out there doing it. Let me see if we got a little something to show what Maria's swag be looking like. Woo-wee, watch out now. Hold on there. Look at that was orange blazer with the Knicks. Look at that. Oh, that's a classic. That's from the MSG commercial, right? Look at that. You know what I mean? My favorite is coming right here. Oh, look at the jacket, folks. Look at the jacket.
Tough.
Woo, look at the flip side. Swag it out.
That was if we came back. I was like, I'm gonna be nowhere else in the world today but at home.
And look at that. That last pick I threw that last pick in there because it's RJ. And I'm a big RJ fan, even though I'm not happy with his basketball product this year. And I know he's under a lot of scrutiny. It's tough. It's tough right now. It's tough.
I still have hope. I'm not giving up on him yet, but he's got to get it together soon because the criticism's going to start coming if the improvements don't come
it's
soon.
there. It's there. It's starting to get a little overwhelming right
crazy.
now. When you said something about Evan Fournier's layup game, I was like, RJ's not too far behind while he's missed layups recently.
Yeah, it's crazy right now. I don't know what's going on. Shout out to Thomas Banks in the chat. I see you. Salute. So, guys, real quick, let's do a quick little rundown of what has taken place this week, and then we'll get into our weekly predictions and get everybody up out of here on this night. But, the week started off in not for nothing. This is a really interesting week for the Knicks. It was a tough little road, and, they had a shot to really make this week pretty special in the end. So I guess we got to give them some credit for playing well in all of these games at certain points. So
we held our own.
Yeah,
there you go. There you go. That works. So first game on the docket was Knicks versus the Los Angeles Lakers. In case you guys didn't see the game live or don't know what happened, Knicks wound up losing this game 129-123 in overtime. So that just tells you right there the Knicks had a good shot to win this game and probably should have won the game if you ask me, but it is what it is. I things happen. In this game, this just is like insult to injury. I just like to throw this out real quick. Rui Hachimura had 19 points, 9 rebounds. A guy that, the Knicks could have traded for. Had they kicked the tires on a trade, maybe, you know what I mean? It's always upsetting when you see another team get a guy that you probably could have had, but whatever. LeBron had a triple-double in this one, and Anthony Davis had his 27-9. But the star for the Knicks in this game
and then LeBron get the assist. He broke an assist record also, right?
Yeah, that's right. He passed us.
Yes, he did.
Right? Yeah.
No easy feat. A good point. Right there. Right.
Yeah, I was gonna throw, and I will throw that out there again for the NBA report. But John's all over it, man. That's why we're a dynamic duo. He's all over it. So in this game, Julius Randle had 23, 12, and 5, but the star for the Knicks in this one was he had 6 assists, Mr. Jalen Brunson, but he had 37 points. And Jalen had some big buckets at the right time. And like that plays into his being our best closing option because his fourth quarter scoring has been great for the most part all year, and like I said, he never backs down from any moment. He's not the lights are never too big for Jalen Brunson. So it is what it is, guys.
He's always in
control. He controls his body, man. He's so smooth. And let me tell you another thing. Well, we'll get to it on the next game because this is interesting stuff. So that's what happened with the Lakers versus Knicks, guys. It's a game they could have won. Didn't turn out the way we hoped. Was there anything that you saw in this one that you really liked, John, or just kind of same old stuff?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of takeaways in that game that you look at, and I liked the way Julius played. I mean, that game, I thought he was aggressive. I thought, he didn't hold back. He usually does play well against his, comrade, Davis. Like they usually go back and forth. So I like his aggressiveness. I like his aggressiveness this entire season, but just his bounce is a little bit more than it was in past years. And I think he's a solid number 2 guy right now. And I do like what the bench is providing. It's just really just about closing out games, and we just got to get better at it. And it comes with time spent on the court, and having a rotation that is solidified. So to Tip's credit, he's really trying to solidify a rotation that makes sense for everybody who's on the court. But once you do that, you should be by mid-season form, right? After the All-Star break, we expect to see more consistency. And for me, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at who are the consistent factors on this Knicks squad that they could rely upon, and it's starting to show itself right now. You're seeing Quickly being a consummate pro, playing the 2 guard, even though he is sort of the stature of a 1. I think RJ, if he puts it all together, he will be impactful, but we're not seeing it yet completely. We'll see it in spurts. But for this game, I thought it was a good game, solid game. Maria, what do you think? What were your thoughts around this LA game?
Were you at this game?
I was. It was frustrating. Yeah, that was a tough one to watch. That was that was the end. It should never been in overtime was my thing with this game. That was like the one thing that sticks in my head was that inbounds play where I was like, why does he have the ball? It's not his shot to take. That was the killer for me because unfortunately we don't have a great record on our home court in overtime, which is crazy because you would think every time it goes to overtime, I'm like, as a competitor, 5 more minutes at home. That's all you got to do is like lock up for 5 minutes. And when we don't get it done, that just drives me insane. But it shouldn't.
But that final shot, right, for me, when I look at it, it's like there wasn't a play called. It was like, no, just give it to Randall. It was like, give it to Randall and spread out. And it's like, why would you give him that play? Like, you don't, like, as a coach, you want to give him an opportunity to succeed, and that wasn't a plan to succeed right there.
But when you think about it, John, it would have been perfect. It actually would have worked great.
Had he passed it?
He got the double team. Had he passed it to Jalen Brunson, I mean, what more do you want? Jalen was wide open.
I always look at it like this. I look at it like this. I mean, I used to play a lot, right? But like, I look at it like this. If there isn't a scheme and you're just asking one player to go one-on-one against a really solid defender and Anthony Davis, you're just causing trouble. And then LeBron, his IQ is at an all-time high in the games. Why would you even put him in the corner? Like, give him some space. At the very least, give him some space to work. You don't put him at the corner. And that to me was just like, well, it was weird. It was like, if you're not going to give it back to Brunson, then why place him there? And
that's what I said. I feel like he's impounding. He should immediately get it back, right? Throw it in, immediately get it back, and you're taking the game winner. That's it. Right. I feel like, they did not put their all into closing out that game. But they were like, okay, going into overtime there. And I'm like, this is not going to be good. Right. You give LeBron overtime, he knows how to close it out. You give us overtime at home, we don't. So that play just stuck in my head so much because I'm like, we should have never been playing the extra 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's kind of how things work for the Knicks. Certain plays that you wish you could have gotten back and done things a little different. And I don't, like, in a way, I don't mind it so much as long as Julius is willing to make that extra pass. If he sees, like, once he got double teamed, to me, you should be passing before LeBron gets there. Once he's there, okay, it's a bad pass.
Not there yet. Like, I'll give him a little credit this season. I feel like he's been better at getting out of the double team because before it was as soon as it came, forget a turnover. He's been better. But he still needs to be better. Exactly what you just said. It can't be when they're already on you. It has to be when you see them approaching. Your man's already open. So why was the ball not in Jalen's hand immediately as soon as he saw them come? He only had, 3 seconds? I think it was 3.5 when he inbounded. So
right.
I
don't get it.
And let's not forget, he's a lefty put on the right side.
Right. That's
So it's
point.
like you turn, right, as a player, you turn to your strong hand. You're not seeing the defender coming behind you because you're trying to get a really good defender off of you. So in his mind, he's looking to do a push in, step back because he's going to that shot. LeBron's all over it. He knows exactly where you're going. So does AD. They watch film. And it's like, you got to be a better coach at that. In those moments, you have to call a play.
That was coaching. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. Easy.
So
I'm not putting that on 100% is what I'm saying.
Right. I mean, look, he has some fault. He has some fault, but
he does.
But I kind of still would have preferred that scenario rather than giving the ball straight to Brunson and then having him break somebody down. Because also, I mean, listen, once Brunson's going, he's going. You know what I mean? So I don't know if he's going to pass the ball. There was a chance in my mind that Julius would have passed it to Brunson because I think he'd be better at knocking down that type of shot than Brunson kicking it to Julius. But whatever, it didn't work out, so I moved on. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. Another thing that I want to talk about just real quick that happened in that game is Tibbs decided to bench RJ for a lot of the fourth quarter and the whole overtime, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that was interesting because we also know after that game, RJ, for probably the first time we've seen in a long time, decided not to speak to the media. It was very interesting and people started going, right? And that sets us up for the next game versus the Miami Heat. Now, in this Miami Heat game, there was no Jalen Brunson. So that meant, listen, if the Knicks wanted to try to win this game, RJ needed to step up. And for whatever reason, not only did RJ step up, but he plays good against Miami. I don't know what that's about. But hey, I'll take it.
On the offensive side.
On the offensive side, yes. Always on the offensive side because that's where he adds value. Right. Knicks wound up winning this game 106-104. Got real gritty down the stretch, but they were able to pull it out. RJ Barrett finished with 30 points, the lead scorer in the game. Julius had 23, 10, and 6, and 3 steals. Not bad, Julius. He also had 7 turnovers, though. And RJ had 5 turnovers. 12 turnovers between the both of them.
Yeah, disgusting.
Not good. Not good at all. But whatever. They were able to get the win. And they had no answer for Bam Adebayo, who had 32 against us, 32 and 9. But yeah, it was a good victory. One that I didn't necessarily expect because the Knicks always struggle with Miami. Miami's got their number for whatever reason. Even when guys play well, they still wind up winning the game. But Knicks pulled this one out, man. John, thoughts on this one?
Yeah, let's go to Marija first. I want to get her take on this one before I go.
Okay. Look how nice this guy is.
Gentlemen, that was a statement win for me just because of the fact that we're going to be in a constant battle with them. We're a half game behind them now. That'll flip up in a couple of days, so that was a statement win. It showed that we could pull through, in those pressure moments without the most important part of our team. So the fact that they were able to do that is big. RJ with that comeback was big. And I know we're over that game, but the LA game, when they benched him, he should have benched him, and that was right. But I don't know that he shouldn't have come back in overtime because the one thing I have noticed with RJ is he has a very short memory. So he can, sorry to take us to another game, but in the LA Clippers game, he went 0 for 7 and then hit a 3 in a moment that we really, really needed it. So one thing I have noticed about him is he's not really, hanging on to those moments. I don't think it's really defeating him. I don't think it's changing his confidence level at all. So I think having him in overtime actually might have helped us in the Lakers game. But I love that he was able to bounce back after, like you said, not talking to the media, and come back and will us to a win because, you're going to have Jalen out some days. We have now Jalen and Mitch out the next game. So I think that was a big way for him to step up and for us to make a big statement against a team that we're definitely going to be neck and neck in the standings with.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I've always said this. It's weird because, it is really weird. He's kind of like his own oxymoron. He's so inefficient. He starts off slow every season, but in a way, RJ is a very clutch player. When it comes down to crunch moments, he hits big shots. I would take him over Julius with the ball, not Jalen. Yes, I agree. I agree. He's not as clutch as Jalen to me, but he's a very clutch player. He's been there for big moments, even back in his rookie year. Right. In his rookie year, if you guys remember, when the Knicks were just freestyling out there, they didn't have no system. All these guys, you remember who was on that team? That was just wild. He hit some big shots during that time.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah.
No, he has it. He has it in him. He has it in him. He is one of those players who likes the prime moment. He likes the lights. He likes the special moments during a game. And I think you're 100% right. He just got to put everything else together in order to be impactful throughout an entire game so that he could have a big moment at the end. And I think it was right of Tibbs to sort of, give him a little food for thought and, letting them know that, you got to bring it. You got to be ready for the entire game, not just the fourth quarter or the end of a game. And this comes with maturity. He's still growing as a player. I think he'll get there. The Knicks brass believes in him. They paid him. So he's going to be around. So it's up to him to put in that work and be that guy. What I like the most about his comeback game, though, is that he was taking it to players he knows can't defend him, right? Anytime they had Hero on him or anytime they had, what was that other gentleman that was trying to guard him? He was owning them. Like
Strus, maybe? I don't know.
It was
Caleb
Martin. He was owning them. Like there was nothing they could do. They knew he wanted to go left. He still went left, right? Like they had to shift Jimmy Butler on them in certain moments of the game just to slow him down. And that's important because now that leaves players like Julius Randle, in sort of a mismatch for any of the Heat players. So they couldn't match up with our team because of RJ Barrett's play. And I think that's, extremely important. And like you said, is a head-to-head. This is our first against them. We're going to see them again. And at the very least, we'll tie right now, right? So I think it's a good position for us to get that first win, get it out the way. We come into the next time we see them with even, more excitement. And hopefully, we'll have Jalen Brunson, there to play. And that'll be a different ball game altogether. So
yeah, and Mitch back.
God willing.
Yeah, which would
I
be
don't
great.
know when.
They need him.
We need him.
Oh, jeez. Oh, man. And so that brings us to the LA Clipper game. Oh, my goodness. I got to tell you, sometimes I'm not like, I look at this team and I kind of know what they are, right? And then there's fans that look at this team like, oh, man, we're one player away. No, we're not. But sometimes I want to say to you guys, I get why you feel this way. Because even though the Knicks show you some inconsistent play, they sometimes have these moments where, they go on these runs, they win games, and then the games they lose, they're right in all of these games against good competition, taking these teams to overtime. You're like, well, man, if they're taking these teams to overtime, like this is consistent this week, that shows that like they're right there with them. I get why you would feel that way. I don't necessarily know if that's the best way to look at it, but I do understand that. And I do think that regardless of what's happening, the Knicks have some talent on this team, and they are better than what a lot of us think. Not as good as what some people think. They're like they're really right there, like right in the middle somewhere. Like, I don't want to say they're mediocre because mediocre teams don't take the best teams in the league to overtime or beat them like we beat Boston. Like, you know what I mean? Give them a little credit. Give these Knicks some credit, man. Let's go. All right. So, boy, this was rough. I'm just going to go through this real quick because I got to get you guys' take on that last shot. All right, so it's 134-128. The LA Clippers won in overtime. Kawhi had 35. Paul George had 30. Norman Powell had 24. So all the players that you expect to get busy for them got busy. I thought actually Zubac was going to kill them. I mean, he got his 13 rebounds, but I thought he was going to kill them offensively, but he was very quiet. So that's what you had to deal with, right? And then with the Knicks, Julius Randle had 28, 11, and 7. RJ did not have a good game, as Marija was saying. All game he was like, but when it came down to the stretch towards the end, that memory, he's out of there.
He must have turned it on.
Yeah, he must have. What? This is when he does that thing in the. Now I know when he turns it on. This is when he must have did the screw thing. Right. Yeah. So that happened, and Jalen Brunson had an incredible game. Shot 73% from the field, had 41 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists. Carried the Knicks the whole game. Fantastic performance by him. And like we said, they lost in overtime. But to get to overtime, Knicks up 3 in the final seconds. They're moving the ball, and for whatever reason, they triple teamed the inbounder. I don't know what that was about. And so it left Isaiah Hartenstein out on the island. So he had to come from the other side of the court all the way to the far end to try to see if he could block or obstruct Nicholas Batum's shot. Now, mind you, the odds of Nicholas Batum hitting this shot are really low. Nicholas Batum plays limited minutes, and he averages 5 points on the season, guys. But in true Nick fashion, of course it went in. My question, and then since in John-like fashion, I will start with Marija. Would you have done anything differently for that final shot on defense?
Oh, I would have fouled. They wouldn't be taking that final shot. Yeah, that's not happening. They were shooting threes. That game, if I'm not mistaken, was the game where they had like 12 threes in the first half when they averaged like 13. So if that's been the pattern all game, why on earth would we give them a shot at a three? So even though, like you just said, the chances of it going down are low, I disagree almost only because like sometimes you're just feeling it off the rest of your team. So everybody's knocking down a three. You knock down a three, you knock down a three. We're breaking 3 records. I felt like that shot was going in as soon as I saw where he was waiting for it. So for me,
did too.
You know what I mean? Like as soon as I saw him, I was like, OT, because I'm not giving you the chance for that. You've been killing us all game from the 3-point line. So why are we letting you shoot a three? I think it's very similar to the inbounds play that we were just talking about. That's I don't know if it's a combination, right? It's coaching, but it's also the IQ of the players on the floor. You have to make those decisions. That was a player decision to say, this is a time that we foul. It was, I think, given the time left on the clock and how they were shooting, you're not taking that shot if I'm coaching that game.
I'm not in disagreement with you on that. I hear you. What do you think, John?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it was a good trap at the corner. It's also, again, IQ, where your player is supposed to be. There's no reason why Hartenstein is at the center position, like close to the rim. He should be out on the defender, right? He should have already been out there. For a 2 doesn't kill you there, right? So it's one of those things. You got to know where you need to be at all times. So IQ is big, but also it's coaching because like you have to be practicing end of game situations. You have to be working on that. If not, seeing film on it and going over that and rehearsing where you need to be. And in a situation like that calls for a foul, why aren't you fouling? It's just one of those simple things that I think players in the league take for granted, that when it comes down to end of games or closing out quarters is extremely important. The good teams, playoff bound teams, year to year, they do well in those situations. And teams like ours that are learning to be that struggle.
Couldn't have said it better, brother. And let me tell you, that's why I get so mad at Tibbs and whatever schemes he comes up with on defense. I get mad that he's got this drop coverage, letting everybody shoot threes. And then you mean to tell me that at the end of the game, when you're up 3 in the final seconds, when you know they need a 3 to tie, they can't beat you. You trapping, I get it. But why trap?
Wait, they could have beat us. We could have also fouled Batum. Would have beat us.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm saying like, yeah, we could. Yeah, it could have been a 4-point play, which would have just destroyed me as a Knicks fan. That might have been it for me for this. Like, remember that time? That would have been my Knicks and bruises for this year. But like, play them straight up, man. To let them inbound the ball, push up on them. Exactly, a 2 doesn't beat you.
I wasn't mad at the trap, right? Because the trap is you're trapping Kawhi Leonard. You know, he could get it up on you whenever. I think I was more upset that like there was no full rotation. It's like know where you need to be. There's no one. You don't have to worry about anyone close to the rim. If they score, you're inbounding the ball with very little amounts of seconds left, and then if you get fouled, you hit your free throws. That's another story, right? We gotta.
But here's the other thing. I see your point, but the other thing, John, is okay. Even if you do decide to make that your play, right? Your inbound play, you want to do the trap thing. You need Hartenstein to be guarding Zubac or whoever the hell he was guarding there. Shouldn't Hartenstein already be on the other side, worried about?
That's what I mean.
I don't care if Zubac hits a three to beat us.
But there was nobody there in the play when you look at it. It was basically get out on the defensive side, stop worrying about a rebound right there. You just focus on whoever's on the perimeter.
Yeah, I don't know. But whatever. Knicks.
It's watching film and paying attention and being aware. Is really what it is. It comes down to IQ, like Marija said. Is we don't have the highest IQ players on this team. They're figuring it out as they go along, but it doesn't come easy to them.
It's tough. It's tough. So then that brings us to the final game of the week, at least this week, which is Knicks versus our still Knicks fans week, I should say. Knicks versus the Philadelphia 76ers, and the Knicks actually beat the 76ers 108-97. They played really good basketball in this game for the most part. I think I really like the fact that they took it to them, like even without Mitch, without really having someone who could stop Joel Embiid. No one can really stop him, but slow him down a little bit. They played it like whatever. Like, we don't care. We're just gonna go out. And I think part of that has to do also with the confidence that you get from playing these other games throughout the week, taking teams to overtime. Knicks could have won all 4 of these games. Imagine that. I'm thinking they could. I actually predicted they'd lose all 4, and they could have won all 4. Unbelievable! Yeah. Great, good job. But anyway, it was really good for them to win this one and get this victory. Embiid finished with 31 and 14. Harden had 12, 8 and 12. And I think Tobias Harris had 14 and 10 for them. But for the Knicks, Julius had 24, 9 and 7. Another typical good Julius Randle game. Jalen Brunson had 21, 5 and 7. And there was no RJ Barrett in this game, which also is a surprise. Imagine that. They beat Philadelphia with no RJ Barrett, no Mitchell Robinson. Shout out to the Knicks, man. Shout out to the Knicks. Yeah, good job. So Marija, what did you think about how they played this game? Were you at this one?
I was not, and I'm so mad. It was a last minute scrap for me. I was so upset I didn't go to this one. This would have been great. But yeah, I was talking to John earlier. I'm like, when's the last time you remember a comeback like this? It's our biggest comeback of the season, 21 points down. And then when the announcers kept saying they're 0 for 11 when they go into the third down, I was like, oh, we're winning this for sure. Because every time they repeat a stat like that too often, I was like, we got this. So that was good to see, right? Because that we have a similar stat, not as bad, when we're down at the half. So it was good to see them kind of not fall into that rut, because I'm sure that's in their heads too. They know it. Like, they know if they start the fourth quarter down, they haven't won. So to be able to overcome that without 2 of your starters, Philly came out strong in the beginning, but by the end of the game, they shot less than 30% from the 3. So for us to be able to switch that up and really lock them down defensively, I also love that we were in the paint more. Like, I love that Julius was going hard, because I hate when he starts shooting from outside when we don't need it and then he keeps shooting, because he's not like RJ where he's going to get hot. Like, Julius has to start hot from behind the arc, or that's it. He's not going to get hot. So if he's not making his shots, he needs to just get in the paint, and he did that this time. And Hart held his own against Embiid. I mean, 14 rebounds is huge against the best center arguably in the league, So that was big time. Everybody knocked down their free throws, except ironically Jalen, like he wasn't that great that game, but obviously great in every other aspect. So I feel like we came through. It looked like we shouldn't have won. Like, I was watching that game and I was like, we don't deserve to win this, but we deserve to win the Clippers game. So I'll take the trade-off. But it was like a proud moment to watch them have such a great comeback and not give up. I haven't seen that in a really long time from them.
Good point. Very good. I agree. And it was very nice, especially knowing that you don't have RJ and you're going to go up against them with their, whatever you want to call their big 3 was there. Maxey was there. Harden was there. And Embiid was there. Like, it's tough. It's a tough team to beat. And they were hot. I mean, not too long ago, they had won 8 out of the last 10. So they've been rolling. Yeah. John, what's your thoughts?
Listen, the Garden is where memories are made, right? And that was for me an epic win, right? It's you look at the games that we've won this year against top tier teams, Celtics game, Miami, and then like Maria was saying, being close in moments against the Clippers and LA and having an opportunity to learn by experience is big because it shows up in games like this where it doesn't look like it looks like the 76ers are going to just do away with us. They were up 21, I believe, at some point, right? And so you're like, okay, this is not going to fare well for us. And then you see the bench start picking it up. Bench play, really solid bench play.
Oh, yeah.
And then you had Fournier putting his, strong minutes. You have McBride putting in his minutes, Grimes. Every one of those players had, double digits in scoring. And I think that's a vast improvement from the last couple of games that you've seen maybe one or two players do it. So having that collective of players being able to provide, an impact in this game was, important for us as we move forward, in this time. And then we don't know what we're going to look like after the trade deadline. But if we were to stay packed, I think everyone on this roster knows that they can impact the game by just being playing physically and by being aware, and just playing with speed and aggressiveness. Ihart and Sims had amazing minutes against Embiid, right? At the very least, you can't stop a guy like that because he's super skilled and he's just a freak athlete, right? But you could do is contain him, especially in the fourth quarter. You can make it tough on him, make the additional pass, right? And you see Harden didn't have a great explosive scoring game, but he did everything else for them. And so it's important to get all of our players involved. And I think we did a good job, Julius, Jalen, just getting other players involved in the game. Because when it came down to crunch time, we were knocking down shots and everybody felt like they were a part of the game. And that's super important, and I think they did a fantastic job. So this last game for me proves that we could be in contention for a playoff run if we played in that fashion. But if we don't, then we reserve back to like one-on-one basketball and, sort of selfish play where it's sort of ISO everything. That's not a good look because it's easier to defend that type of play.
Very true. Very true. So before we get into the predictions and kind of get our wrap up on, shout out to the chat once again. Appreciate you guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. Look at my guy Victor from Brazil. Knicks fans, Brazil is in the building. He says hi, Maria. He's waiting for you in Brazil. Victor's a great guy. Finesseful J is here. Awesome. Yeah, he is. L Servy's in the building. Salute to you. Let me see. There was couple other people that I just wanted to give a quick shout out to. Tony Crow, Knicks and Bruises. We've been talking about you a lot in this show, man. Glad that you're here, bro. Thank you for tuning in. I think I got everybody. I think I said what's up to everybody. Pudge Nice and the gang, Ron Cleveland. Yeah, I got everybody else. Okay, cool. If I missed you, it's not for lack of trying. You guys understand. We rolling in the show, man. Appreciate all y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in and showing love and being here for this special show and giving our special guest Maria some love. Quality Jumpers in the building. Salute, salute, salute. All right, guys. So before we get into our predictions, I gotta ask you guys this real quick thing because it's starting to become a hot take for Knicks fans and content creators, right? And I think it's getting some teeth. I hate it. Oh, I feel like I know what you're going to say. Do the Knicks, I don't know if you know this one, but you might. Do the Knicks play better without RJ Barrett? Oh God. I know I said it. I didn't want to say it, but it came out. But damn, remember the 8-game win streak? No RJ Barrett.
Yeah, I think how I was saying before how much Jalen has increased Julius's production. I don't see the same at all for RJ at all. Like it's almost like he's the odd man out in that trio. It was like the two of them started working really well together. That 2-man game is clearly an upgrade from last year. and RJ just kind of stayed stagnant. It almost feels like, even when they're on the court together, it feels like if RJ gets the ball, he has to create for himself. It's no one's creating for him, no one's looking for him. It feels like he's the third wheel. You know what I mean? I don't know if they play better without him, but it definitely feels like they're best buds, and he's just kind of trying to hang out with them.
Well, the difference between RJ and Julius and Jalen is, for the most part, nobody can stop Julius or Jalen. Like when teams try to stop Jalen, they come with a whole scheme to try to stop him. You saw against the Clippers, they even had Kawhi on Jalen. Jalen was still getting to the rack, getting his shot off. Right. And then Julius is just a powerhouse. He's a big brawler. Like he can get a shot if he wants to. Right. But RJ's got to work a little harder. And when you're inefficient and you have to work that hard, it could be a little bit of a problem for you. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I mean, I really, like you guys know, I've said it before, RJ is still my favorite player on these Knicks, even if I don't feel like right now he's playing good basketball. And if the Knicks felt like they needed to trade him, I would understand, because I'm a Knicks fan first, RJ second. But, it is what it is. But I hope for the best for the young fella. Shout out to Manny. I appreciate you, brother. He said RJ Barrett needs Michael's secret stuff from Space Jam. Yeah, he needs something. He needs something.
Yo, Ron, I got the serum.
Oh, yeah, you got it.
I have the serum. You know what it is? RJ needs to work on that mid-range.
Yeah.
Listen, John, we've been talking about this forever. I don't know why guys are scared of the mid-range.
He just has to implement it right now. He's not implementing it. He's going all the way to the rim, or he's shooting the three.
Yeah. And not finishing at the rim still, though. That was like one thing. Matter of fact, when I talked to Victor, I remember saying like one of the three things that RJ really needs to improve on is efficiency at the rim. Like, you got to finish. And he's a strong guy. Like, get to the rim and finish. He's missing layups still. That's like unacceptable at this point.
Yeah,
and take a page out of
shout out to
DeRozan. That's it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He hit him. He wanted to hit him up and work with him in the summer. I don't know what happened with that, but like, dude, don't let your game be dictated by what the rest of the league is doing. If you guys remember, and I'm only bringing this up, shout out to D's World of Hoops. They were talking about this earlier on the show. Someone brought it up that like RJ was a mid-range, get to the rack type of player. He started shooting more threes with the Knicks, and then when Thibodeau got here, he was shooting all types of threes. Like, don't change your game if that's not truly where you make your bread and butter and where you feel comfortable. Do what works for you and let everything else adapt around you. You could see a guy like DeMar DeRozan. I don't care about you guys shooting threes. I'll hit them here but give me a two and let's see if you can stop me. That's what I'm saying. You got to play that type of style. I was watching on YouTube because, I love watching basketball stuff about Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. Killing everybody, 6 feet, shooting from everywhere. Don't matter. Get you to the rim, mid-range, shoot a three. Whatever, he kills everybody. And just looking at Kendall Gill, you guys remember Kendall Gill from Charlotte, one of my favorite players growing up. Mid-range was crazy. Let's get back to some of the old fundamentals for RJ, and I think that'll really take his career in a good direction. Stay away from some of all these long three-point shots, and find a niche. But
I don't know. I'm
always on the fence with that one.
That goes for the whole team, though. Because we're shooting the most threes in the league, not the most, but we're up there in the team that shoots the most threes in the league, and yet we're all the way at the bottom with our three-point percentage. So that goes for everybody but Jalen Brunson, and when Julius gets hot, he gets hot. But like, as a team, you cannot be in the top tier of, how many threes you're attempting, and then in the bottom tier of how many of those you're making. Like, you got to adjust, or you got to pick up a 3-and-D guy before Thursday. One of the two has to happen.
I'm with you on that. Facts. Shout out to Tony. Yeah, true. Shout out to Tony Crow, Knicks and Bruises. He said, "Man, you moved on already, brother." He said, "No bread and butter for he's toast." It's getting rough out here, folks. I'm telling you, getting rough. Look how quickly the tables turn. Last year was all about Julius. This year it's all about RJ.
I'm not giving up on RJ. I think he has what it takes to play in New York. I'm not giving up on him.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, Man, I think it's that time. That time for that other guy, that third member of Still Nick Fans, to kind of grace us with his presence, if he can. I don't know if he's out there listening. Oh. Oh. I think he's here.
Hey, what's up?
Hello. Hey, Jose.
What's going on, Jose?
Not much, just hanging here, trying to fix something in the bathroom real quick, while, multitasking, trying to do this production in the background.
Oh, I got you. Hey, man, listen, you got to take care of your home, man. Take care of your home. Make everything happy. And by the way, for the record, Tony Crow said he was just trolling. I figured that. Tony loves his Knicks. He loves RJ. Okay. Shout out to G Mark, too. All right, let's go.
Okay, so, Marija, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
First of all, everything that you were saying in the beginning about, making math fun, making education fun, and then letting the kids know that, listen, you can have a career in your favorite sports. That was beautiful right there.
Thank you.
Yes.
I told you I need these sound effects my first day of school. I just want you guys to all walk in with me. Let's do this.
Well, I mean, we might have figured out a package way to get this stuff over to you, but we want you to come back. So we might not give it to you because we want you. The only way you're going to hear it if you come on back.
Yeah.
We're going to have the playoff takes with Marija, right?
Yeah, man. If we make it.
We'll be there.
We're getting it. Come on.
Yeah, we'll be there.
So every week, both Ron and John make predictions for the upcoming week of the Knicks.
Okay.
And so we actually have 4 games coming up, with the 4th game actually happening next week, Monday at 7:30. So chances are we might find the results of that game at maybe in the middle of our show of next week.
Okay, you rock out whether it's game time or not. You guys are
yeah.
every Monday. Okay. Commitment. I like it.
I mean, they only pay me for Monday, so that's all they get, honestly.
Respect, Jose.
It's true. We work on a limited budget.
It's very limited.
Marija, if you look at these 4 games, what would be your prediction?
I'm going to start with that. That's that Brooklyn game at the bottom, right? Am I seeing that correctly?
Yeah, that's going to be the last game happening next week, Monday, actually.
I'm starting there because I'm predicting this is finally going to be the first time we beat Brooklyn in, 10 straight wins they have against us?
Mm.
So I'm going to start there and say this is where we finally break that, because we cannot possibly go 0 for 11 against them. We're not going to go.
But are you saying we can't lose to Brooklyn with no Durant, no Kyrie, no Ben Simmons?
Oh, no, we can. Don't be mistaken. We can find a way. Don't you worry. We can find a way. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say this might be the one we finally get against Brooklyn. That might be it. Do you guys do score predictions? Or you just do wins, losses?
Win and loss. Yeah.
Wins, losses.
See, you can't. I'm a bad person to do this with because I'm just going to predict all wins. I have too much hope in my team. I'm going to go. We're beating Orlando. That's too easy. They still have Mobama still suspended, right?
I think so. Well, he might. Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah. I think we repeat what we do in Philly. And then Utah. Did we beat them this year?
We did play them.
Yeah, I think we beat them. We did beat them. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go 4-0. Let's go 4-0 with this.
4-0.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, Ron, John, listen. Marija gave us her prediction. She said 4 wins, 4-0. My question to you is, do you want to take her predictions as yours, or do you want to give me your own predictions?
I'm taking Marija's prediction all the way.
Let's go, John. I like the optimism.
Let's go. Let's go, Ron. What's
Ron, are you gonna suck up? I mean,
no, I'm not going to take. I'm not going to take Marija's or John's prediction, because I feel like if I do, he's going to throw me with some. No, You don't understand, Marie. He likes to hit us with curveballs. So I'm not taking those predictions.
Okay. How
I'm
about
gonna
this?
be
How about
different.
this? Wait, Ron. Hold up. Okay. Instead of taking Maria's prediction, how about the fans' prediction?
Oh boy.
He's stressed.
Yeah, I'll take the fans' prediction.
You take the fans' prediction. All right.
Yep.
And the fans predicted while you guys were having your discussion today, they predicted 4 wins as well. So I mean, you still got the
Let's
same
go.
predictions.
Let's go.
Forced optimism. I love it.
But
You
listen,
know,
Oh,
the key to this
man.
whole game is that at the end of the year, the loser has to buy the winner a steak dinner.
I love it.
and by Jose
I-
dinner too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Jose is a
Jose's in the
given.
mix too.
Yeah.
See,
I
the
just
problem
freeload.
here is though, but Jose, is this what you really wanted? Do you want me and John to have the same predictions?
It's
Okay,
okay
you know
because
what,
I
Ron?
won last week, so I'm still in the lead.
You
Yeah.
can't
How's
win,
it-
you can't beat me this week though.
But with that being said,
Look,
last week both of you made some prediction. One of your
Uh-huh.
predictions got changed during the end of the
Mhm.
program because of our guest of last week. So we actually do have a winner this week. Are y'all ready to see who the winner is?
Mhm.
Maybe.
yeah, let's do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Congratulations, John. You won, and this one's for you. Okay, that's it.
There you go. Let's go. I did my
funniest
best
thing, Ron,
impression of
Is
Jersey.
that actually you guys would have been tied up for this week if Nisha did not change your predictions against, I forgot what team it was.
Oh yeah,
The
he's well aware.
Clippers.
The Clippers,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know. Oh, I know.
But I think you brought
So
it
now
up
you're
on
up.
yourself because you jinxed yourself last week with that.
No, yeah, hey, John's up. And if
Okay.
I had a chance, I would be picking the Knicks to lose to Philly. But whatever, I said too much. Sorry. That's okay. Nice understands. Nice in the chat. He said they hit Ron with another curveball in a different way. They always do. Nice. You know. I don't know what it is, man. It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. That's okay. I'll
This
take
game
it.
is
I'll take
rigged.
it for the team.
game
This
is
game
rigged.
is definitely rigged. B.
You know what? It's going to be Super Bowl weekend too. Philly fans are going to come in with some extra confidence. Now that I think about it,
Right?
did you hear the Garden? Yeah. Did you hear the Garden
Yes.
chanting Eagles?
I
I
did.
loved it.
Yeah.
I love
I 100. People don't understand as a New York Giant fan
Yeah.
how much despair I've had watching them play Philly and how we've given them such great victories and comebacks.
Yep.
I despise Philly. Vi Sikahima, wherever you are. If people don't remember, back in the day, the Philadelphia Eagles had a player called Vi Sikahima.
Yeah.
What he did was he scored on the Giants, and then he like ran right into the New York Giant goalpost with his helmet, and he was like doing all crazy stuff in the you know, the end zone. I just got me mad.
Yeah.
It was the worst. Anyway, well, that's pretty much that's our show, guys. But looks like Knicks fan Brazil wanted me to ask Maria one thing. He said, ask her about the time she played basketball with Anthony Mason. What was
Oh,
that?
it's one of my favorite moments. I have a lot of good stories. It's a crazy story. I have no shame. So I was at it was like a charity event at the Garden, and Mace was there. And I was like, I'm just gonna challenge him to a one-on-one because what's the worst he could say? No. And he sure said yes. And so on the Garden floor, insane. On the Garden floor, once everybody that was playing was off, me and Anthony Mason squared up, and he was so big at that point he couldn't even put his jersey on. He just had it like hanging over his neck. And we sure played
Wow.
one-on-one, and I definitely scored, and I hit a 3 in the Garden on Anthony Mason. And then he won.
That's
But I was
crazy.
all types of flagrant fouls on my part. Like I was pulling him down. But I was like, who would have thought? I mean, my childhood, like the team that I started watching, I'm playing this man one-on-one just for fun
That's crazy.
on the Garden floor.
That-
Yeah, it was an amazing moment.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
God
dope.
rest his
What a
soul.
good moment.
Yeah, it was
Hey.
unreal.
You know what? That's why you're a real one. You deserve that moment. I'm glad you had it. Good for you. Good for you. Shout out to Cam from the Kickback. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for being here. Danny Landis in the building. My guy Cormega is here. And I did say Jean Marc, but it's Jean Marc. Shout out to you, my brother. Appreciate you. Yeah, man. This has been another great show, guys. I thank you for tuning in. We had really good turnout tonight, considering there's so much competition in the Nick community on Monday nights. You wouldn't imagine how many shows are on at the same time or have been on tonight. So thank you guys for tuning in and showing love to our special guest, Marija Kero. Let me say it. Is it Kero or Kero?
That was perfect. Yeah, it is Kero.
Hey, you know me. Que bonita bandera. All right, let me stop. I get too full of myself. Calm down. All right, my bad, y'all. My bad. Anyway, thank you for being here. Definitely, it was a pleasure chopping up with you. I had no idea. I knew you were going to be a good guest. And I say this all the time. You guys think it may be a line. No, I know these guests that we're going to have are going to be good guests. I just don't know the type of chemistry and the enjoyment we're going to have in our conversations until we get in it. And this was another fantastic conversation. You're welcome to come back anytime, Marija. Definitely, man. Like the fans, everybody else in the chat, they love you already. So
thanks, guys.
So, what's going on? I know you're not at your old job. You got a new job. You're still teaching mathematics, and you're still infusing your Nick love and all that stuff as well.
So instead of having a Knicks classroom, I have a Knicks office now. So I'm coaching math teachers now. So it's a little different. I still, I have direct contact with the kids. It's a little different. I'm going to see. It's going to be hard for me because I really, truly love teaching. But I'm going to see if my impact can go a little bit wider as I coach math teachers instead. So, still working with kids. I still have them already coming in the office for some help, but still infusing the Knicks fandom. They come in and they're like, what is this? And I'm like, I got the hoops up. So you guys can come shoot around in the office if you're doing the right thing in your math class, So new gig I started a couple of weeks ago and it's going well.
Oh, that's dope. Look at how she stuttered on us real quick. Got that. I'm not teaching now. I'm coaching the math teachers. Got that promo love. Let's go. Promotion flow.
It's hard to say it. I've had a position before that I demoted myself back to teacher. I was like, I love teaching, and administration has not been for me. I'm working right now with just the most amazing principal I've ever encountered. So I'm super happy at the school I'm at, and hopefully I can bring Jalen back there as well. But it's been a great time. So I'm excited for the opportunity.
That's awesome.
That's great. And one more thing before we get out of here, before we say our goodbyes, because the other thing that I've noticed with your Instagram is, listen, your Instagram name says it all. It's Globetrotter. You travel a lot. Is there like a bucket list that you have?
There's not. The only thing that was on my bucket list was Egypt, and I did that a couple of years ago. So once that was off, that was like my dream vacation. I'm super obsessed with just Egyptian history, the pyramids, and the mystery behind them, and the fact that we're still learning so many things we don't understand about them. But the whole world is my bucket list, honestly. Every time people are like, what's your favorite place? I'm like, everywhere I go, I gain something, right? I talk to strangers. I try all the foods, so I just love embracing new cultures and learning all about them and throwing myself fully into this. So everywhere I go, I've seen something amazing. I've experienced something amazing, even just practicing a new language, talking to people, strangers with kind acts on the street. So trying to see this whole world. But African safari is the next thing that will take some planning. Everything else is pretty spontaneous, but that's the only other thing besides Egypt that I need to get done that'll take some planning. But I really want to see the Great Migration happen. So when all the herds of hundreds of thousands of animals cross like the Maasai, I really want to see that in action. So hopefully soon, maybe this summer. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, that's really great. Wow. Well, so where can everybody find you? If they want to find you on Instagram and support, just support Marija.
Okay, sure. Yeah, it used to be Knicks Chick, and I changed it, so it's Globetrotter_MK. That is me. Yeah, I haven't. I got to get back on Twitter. I was Knicks Chick on Twitter. I got to get back on there. It's just a lot to handle, but I'm on.
You were Knicks Chick on Twitter.
Yeah.
No one. Okay.
Yeah, and then I forgot my password and couldn't log back in for years. And I was like, all right, let me reactivate this thing. So I'll get back on there. But yeah, Globetrotter. I'm on Instagram quite a bit. So when I'm at the games, I'll post from there and stuff. But yeah, you guys can catch me on there. We can connect. And it was definitely a good time talking to you guys.
Yeah, no, it was great having you. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. And like I said, you're welcome back anytime. And I may bother you in the near future, so don't don't hate me because
playoffs are around the corner. We gotta get your tickets in the playoffs.
Yeah,
that's right.
And unless you're at the game.
Yeah, I will be. No, for the playoffs, I will be at every home game for sure. I mean, yeah, that I'm not missing. I'm not missing that. But the away games, you can count on me. Well, even the away, I actually, one of my favorite things is to go invade the opposing stadiums. Like, I've been to Boston a few times. There's nothing I love more than causing havoc at other stadiums. It's one of my favorites.
I love it.
I'm in there. I'm obnoxious. Like, that first picture you posted, the orange blazer, that was in the Golden State Arena. Wally saw me when I walked in, and Wally was like, nice outfit. I was like, thank you. I made sure I came to be seen in Golden State.
Nice.
So, I love doing that.
Nice.
Riling up Boston fans is fun. I got to make it to Philly soon.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great.
That'll be a fun
that's a tough crowd.
It is. Phillies, they're rough. They're rough.
I'm all about it. I'm all about it.
and honestly, I think they're worse than us, man. New Yorkers are tough, but Philly is they're raw.
Another level.
They don't have any other fans there. I feel like in our building, because it's New York and it's such a melting pot, people come from everywhere. There's always some people repping the other teams, right? But since Philly doesn't have it as much as we do, it's probably a higher concentration of pure Philly fans.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, well, once again, thank you for being with us, Marija. We appreciate you and definitely enjoyed this talk and would love to have you come back again in the near future, and wishing you the best in all your endeavors, everything you do, your travels, coaching up the rest of these math teachers and letting them know how to do it. See how maybe some of them will start infusing some of that nickdom in their lesson plans too. We'll see.
That's what I'm hoping. I just want to spread this as far as we can. Let's make all these kids Knicks fans. Let's do it.
There you go. John, final words, brother?
Yeah, before I say goodbye to everybody, I want to give a shout out to my son and his, team that are just finished their season 11-3 CYO tournament for Catholic school. So much love to that team. My son first year playing because of the pandemic wasn't able to play. He's really showing up, so I want to give a shout out to my son, 13-year-old little Jaden Ortiz, holding it down.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. Made his all-star team, so he's
they're going to the playoffs, right?
Going to the playoffs. They're the number 1 seed. They finished 11-3. And yeah, he's had some impactful games. And I'm extremely proud of him and all of his teammates. So I just wanted to give him a quick shout out. Other than that, man, everyone out there in the chat and tuning in, stay blessed, stay healthy, and I'll catch you on the next one.
There you go. Shout out to you guys. Appreciate y'all in the chat. Much love to all of y'all tuning in. And those who are tuning in late, Nick Yak, appreciate you, my brother Kevin Middleton, even Danny Landis, who came, not too long ago. But listen, you guys are welcome to watch the replay. This was another great show, great conversation, talking with Marija. She knows her stuff, man. She's a Knicks fan, man. Don't try to play her. She knows. I mean, listen, she went one-on-one with Anthony Mason. Watch out. Okay, watch out. Anyway, guys, as I always like to say, thank you for being here. Shout out to my guy on the 1s and 2s holding us down, Jose, in the building. There you go. Appreciate you, my brother, as always. Thank you to the chat. You guys have been wonderful. Smash those like buttons. Well, smash that like button, because it's not like there's more than one like button. It's only one. Smash that like button. Show your love for the show. Thank you for being here, as always. I like to say, Tell a friend who tells a friend who tells another friend. Still Knicks fans. We'll be back again, whether it be on Monday nights for SKF Weekly at 9 p.m., on Thursday nights for the NBA Report on the Nothing But Knicks Network. That's right, NBK at 8 p.m., or on Saturdays at 11 a.m. for Know the Ledge with yours truly. You know how we do. We keep it real. We get you out of that whole Nick conundrum that you're in all week. Oh, they suck. No, they don't. Let's know the ledge. Let me talk you down. Come on, man. Anyway, guys, it's been a pleasure. Another great show. Thank you guys for being here. We'll catch you on the next one. It's been real.
Good night, guys.
Freedom over fame. Freedom over cycle stays the same.